All right, what's up, everyone? This is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. We have a huge 14-game slate to talk about tonight. I'm joined here by Nolan Kelly. Nolan, how are you doing? How is that article coming along today?
It's good. It'll be up by 4 p.m. No, it's already up. It's there's a lot in there for sure. A lot of stuff going on. Hopefully, I caught most of it. I'm sure I missed a few things, but maybe we can catch some of it on the slate if I missed anything.
Yeah, so tons to talk about. I don't know. Do you like these big 14 gamers? I mean,
I
article
don't
writing
know
aside.
actually. I was gonna ask your opinion on like does your strategy differ? I know like you're just gonna stick with your stacks, but
Mhm.
do you tend to do more like 4-3-1s? Do you tend to correlate your goalies more or less? Like what's your sort of approach that changes from like a 5 game slate to a 14 game slate?
Not much. I think I'm more okay with correlating goalie just because you don't need to have the highest scoring goalie because there's so many different paths to success on a big
Mhm.
slate with stacks. I mean, sure, one stack could destroy everything and be like the one you have to have, but
Yeah.
and one goalie could do that too if you get a 40 save shutout or something. But the odds of you like picking that goalie are just so slim. So it doesn't really change anything for me, but I am more comfortable just like locking in a win with like correlating with my stack. I think on a big slate.
Makes
So
sense. And one thing I know I do a little bit differently is I just don't do as many deep dives. Like I don't try to find that third line. Like it's good to have a few of them mixed in, especially if you're
mhm.
going paying up for like one of the top lines. You might even have to, but not tonight, as we'll get to, I think. But just having like like one that they're going to be like a second line, like somebody's going off, and it's probably not going to be like do you agree with that? You
I
don't have to,
agree.
you don't
Yeah.
have to
No, I
dive
know
as
what you're
deep.
trying to say. Yeah, I include less third lines.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for reasons to cross the lesser lines off too.
Yep.
I don't know if people do that, but it's something I do. Like I'll cross off, 80% of the third lines, and
Just
I'll
leave
keep in.
Montreal. You're good to go.
Yeah, Montreal. Like I'll keep in a few of them, but yeah, they're if they project out well enough or as decent enough values, they'll show up in the optimizer anyway. But at this point in the
Yeah.
day, like I kind of know which lines are going to be in my pool, which players are going to be in my pool, and who I'm going to be heavily exposed to. So I like these big slates. I don't like researching for them because it just feels like there's so many spots, and you feel like there's the fear of missing out. But
Hmm.
you really, uh, if you don't overthink it, I think they can be great in that sense.
Right.
So
Absolutely. Because everyone else is in the same boat, right? Like you're all struggling to get in so much exposure,
yeah, exactly.
so
So
many different so many different lines.
yeah, and you don't have to make like you're making huge stands, but not playing a ton of guys. So like last night's slate, even if you played half your lineups the Tavares line, you're like still underweight. Whereas tonight, like you can have two or three lineups out of 20 and be comfortably overweight on like a St. Louis one, like a line that I kind of like. Um, you're just going to be overweight on a lot more lines, it seems like. So
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah,
St. Louis won. Hey, nice. Should we dive in?
yeah. All right, let's do it. We're gonna try to make this about an hour. So uh, yell at us in chat if we're you know wasting too much time on stuff. But we're gonna get through all 14 here. All right, we're gonna start with Carolina and Buffalo. We've got a 3 implied total for Carolina, 2.9 for the Sabres. Curtis McElhinney expected to go against Linus Ullmark. News and notes here, and then anything you like in this game, Nolan.
Yeah, so the Buffalo Sabres have rejigged their lines again. Just let me pull up my sheet here. It looks like, yeah, so Eichel is back with Skinner, and then Pominville is on that line as well. Tage Thompson's a healthy scratch, and Middlestad is centering Sheary and Reinhardt. And then no changes on the Carolina side as far as I could tell.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as well. So my main target in this one, and pretty heavily actually, is this Carolina one line. And so if anybody looks on Natural Stat Trick, you look up the line tool or whatever, you'll see that this line's numbers are just outrageous. Like over 70 minutes now, we're getting into a pretty decent sample, and they're just
Mm,
running over everyone, like 90 Corsi 4 per 60. So that gets my attention right off the bat. And then Buffalo's been really bad defensively. Like if you watch them, if you look at the numbers the last few games, so I'm not expect like the Eichel line has been pretty solid defensively, but this Aho line just ran over the Crosby line in their last game, which I still think is a really awesome line defensively and offensively. And they just smoked them. So I don't know. They're not matchup proof, but I think they're going to be low ownership here and full power play correlation, and Buffalo's just been so bad. So that's the one I like.
Yeah, especially like people sort of have I think people think Buffalo is better defensively maybe than they are, or like especially like they've been really good against D this year. So maybe that's starting to change a little bit. Sure. They've regressed after a hot start, and that Carolina one's actually getting a ton of ice time too now. Like it's Carolina was always a bit more of a split team after they took apart that big three. So now they're getting like a 30+% 5-on-5 share, and they're clear like number one line. The only thing that scares me off is that Buffalo's been really good on the penalty kill lately. They have allowed the second least in the last 10 games, second least amount of scoring chances, second least amount of high danger chances in the power play. So you can kind of that mitigates some of the excitement I have for Carolina, but
that's certainly fair. I just think they're going to come in a little bit under owned. I don't know if people have really been taking notice. Like the results have been good, but the numbers have been even better if that's possible. And like Niederreiter has been a different player. You see him as a D value here, but if you look at what he's done since he's come over to Carolina and been with these two guys, like he's just like he's almost leading the team in shot attempts, scoring chances, and high danger chances. He's just getting I don't know what's going on with him, but like I wouldn't have him as a D value. So I know Osmo uses more like data from earlier this year and even last year as well to make his projections. So that's why you're getting the D value, but I wouldn't let that scare you away from Carolina 1 here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's the play tonight. And then like I don't know, Buffalo 1. Do you have any shares of them or Buffalo 2?
No, I don't think so. So, yeah.
Fair.
Homer Cleese chimes in. What's up, Steve? Giving up 11 goals in their last 2 home games. Not too worried about the Sabres at home. Yeah, and I just realized why I was watching the Sabres because the Wild were on. They played them last game, and the Wild missed a million chances, and they still put up, I think, 4 or 5 goals. So I'm just not worried about Buffalo these days.
Yeah, that's fair.
Got anything else in this game?
No. I think, I mean, as a flyer, you can always take Allmark in a couple lineups if you want. It's the flow chart for goalies, but probably not the best matchup tonight and the best spot for them to be in. Buffalo just hasn't been playing well. You already highlighted, so.
Yep, I like McElhinney a little bit, but.
Any D on Carolina? Or are you still on the Hamilton train?
Yeah, I like Dougie. More as a one-off, just because he doesn't correlate to Carolina 1, which is my main target. So. I think he's back in that one-off territory now, getting more ice time and shooting quite a bit more. All right, let's go.
Sounds good.
Let's go to Pittsburgh and Florida. We've got a 3.3 implied total for the Penguins, 3.2 for the Panthers. Casey DeSmith expected to go against Roberto Luongo, if that's correct.
Yeah.
Do we have any line changes or anything here?
Murray's injured, so he's day-to-day. Okay. So I don't know if he's backing up or he'll probably suit up and back up. So yeah, we got the double revenge game, the quadruple revenge game narrative. Bukestad's up on Pittsburgh 1 tonight with Crosby and Guentzel, and then those lines have changed a little bit around. So it looks like I'm just gonna make sure I get it right here. Matt Cullen with Kessel and Rust, and then Jared McCann with Simone and Hornqvist. And then on the other side, it's Huberdeau. Vetrano is back up on Florida 1, and Hoffman's down on 3, and Huberdeau is on Florida 2. Other than that, they're basically the same. Sweet. And then on the D side, I know Dumoulin's played a lot with Letang this year. I just noticed that they had him on Daily Faceoff. They had him paired with Mata? No, somebody else, but Marcus Peterson's moved up to that spot with Letang. So he's kind of decent value. Like he's not I don't know. I always like targeting that like second defenseman beside an offensive and defenseman hoping for that second assist if you need a cheap defenseman.
Sure.
So
yeah, I don't mind the Pedersen call at all. Actually, for 3K playing with Letang, he's going to play probably 20+ minutes. And punt D is really short. So yeah, there's just nothing. So I'm trying to pay up as much as possible. But in the lineups that I am trying to punt, I think Patterson's going to be a guy that I'll have a little bit of exposure to. People in the chat like Pitt 1. I think that's pretty smart here. They're just not really making my cut as far as a main stack for me. and then neither is Florida one here. So it's a little bit worrisome here. And by the way, guys, I did switch to the DK pricing. We usually go with DK. I had FanDuel up. I was wondering why Carolina was getting such a bad grade, but the point still stands with Niederreiter. I think he's a C grade on DK. But anyways, I'm not getting a ton in this game. Am I crazy here? 6.5 implied?
No, I think it actually could go kind of maybe like sneakily and under here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, the perception is that they're two fairly like high event teams, but they've both been playing solid D lately. So, and then I just like in my article today, I just wrote up some of the penalty kill and power play stuff. So I'll just cite that if there's like some outliers that might like shift your opinions at all. It's not exactly something to 100% go with. But Panthers #1 penalty kill over the past 10 games. They've only allowed 1 goal, 12 scoring chances against, 7 high danger chances against. This includes like, that's not the penalty kill ratio. That includes like time shorthanded as well. So it's like the overall amount of chances. So they're not taking a lot of penalties, but they're also being stingy as well. And then so the Penguins weren't that far off as well, I think. So it's kind of who's that? It's kind of just like mitigates it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like take them down just a notch or two. But not getting to a lot of them. I think Florida 1's pretty reasonably priced. But they're just other lines I like more tonight.
Yeah, they are reasonably priced, and I figured that I would get to more of them, just price alone, not weighing in the matchup. But I think they're going to go up against Crosby. I don't really love that matchup. I definitely give the Crosby line the edge. Crosby and Gensel both on the top power play. I know Florida, you just mentioned, has had a good penalty kill lately. But I do side with Pittsburgh 1 if I'm going to one of the top 2 lines here. And then people like Florida 2, looking at their price there, that's 11.4, 14.9, is that correct? Anyways, just under 15K, somewhere around there. I've just got other lines that I like better, and actually 2 lines on the same team around that same price. So we'll get to that in a bit, but that's why I'm not getting a lot of exposure to them. I think they're a fine play. They're going to get the better matchup, not going up against Crosby. No Malkin there for Pittsburgh, just not all that great below this top line. So when you get to go up against Matt Cullen and Jared McCann, I think you got a pretty good matchup here for Florida too.
Yeah, I agree. I think and then like you get into any of these other Pittsburgh lines at all, or
no?
Yeah,
nope. Malkin's usually the driver for me, and when he's out, even though you've got some cheap exposure to Kessel, it's just not the same. I don't think that line's going to be any good defensively. I think they're going to spend a lot of time in their own zone. So maybe by game time I get to a little bit more here now that I'm talking through it. But there are just so many spots on this slate. You can't really have all of them. And this one, I think I'm going to come in underweight on both sides, it's looking like.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I don't actually mind Luongo as a one-off contrarian goalie play if you want someone who's going to be like 2% owned.
Going to see a lot of shots. And if that penalty kill has improved, then that's a pretty decent price for him, even though I don't think he's been very good as of late.
Yes, he is not.
Ekblad, pretty decent value. Osmo agrees. 4,200 there. Going to play a lot of minutes, probably a lot with the Barkov line. So I just thought he stuck out as a pretty good price. A lot like same deal with Pettersson. Just going to see minutes, and it's pretty cheap where you're looking for value defensemen here because there's not very many.
He's been solid. Like he gets 23 minutes a game, 20 to 23 minutes every time, and his price just hasn't gone up. Like he's definitely one of the better value D in that range tonight.
Yep.
So I'll be using him a bit.
Cool. All right, ready to go on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Islanders and Devils. We've got a 2.9 implied total for the Islanders, 2.6 for the Devils. Tomas Greiss expected to go against Corey Schneider. What do you like here? And then do we have news and notes? Anything?
So news and notes. Just noticed on I think was it Roto-World or one of the beat writers was tweeting that Beauvillier has moved down to the third line, and Dalcol has moved up to the second line with Barzal and Bailey. But I don't think a lot of the sites have that yet. I don't know if we have that. So that's something to consider. And then the other side we got Corey Schneider, which is like really interesting because I wouldn't be super high on the Islanders, but Schneider's been just god awful this year. His goals against average is .466 with an .852 save percentage, and he just got back from a stint in the minors where he had a .324 goals against and an .880 save percentage. So that's those numbers, like they're kind of like the great equalizer. If he's as bad as he has been, then the Islanders are kind of I don't know if they'll be sneaky tonight, but I don't think they're going to be highly owned.
Sure. I don't know. This is one of those where it's like it's almost too obvious just to cross off like two teams that. It's not like they have like some powerhouse line or anything, but I think I'm pretty much ending up crossing this one off all across the board. Polak's price.
I think I might have some New York Islanders 1 just in case. Like their power play has been decent, creating chances. I think they're 4th in the NHL over the last 10 games. And, they're getting a higher ice time share than Islanders 2 right now. It's about a 30% 5-on-5 share and the power play 1 time. So if you have to choose between those two lines, I go with Islanders 1. But
yeah, I almost always default to them because there's no Josh Bailey, and you usually get full power play correlation. And then I like to follow where Anders Lee is anyways. So yeah, Schneider has been so bad. That's why it's a little bit worrisome to fade. But just kind of going where the value takes me tonight, and it's not this game. Specifically not on the Islanders side. So hoping this one stays somewhat quiet and Schneider can just be decent. I don't know if he's going to get steam as like, maybe he's not going to be chalky, right? He can't be even for 7,100 at home. Okay.
No. I don't think so. Like people are going to see those numbers, right? Like
I don't know. I think people might just see at home against the Islanders, who people think are a bad team.
I mean, maybe people will fit him in just because he's cheap, but
sure. Yeah, I want no part of it. That's what I'm trying to say. So even if he's 3%, like I'm not going to be there because I think even if he wins this game, he's still not going to be one of the top values of the night. Like the Islanders don't generate that much offensively, anyways. So
exactly.
Really, a lot of downside, and I don't think a ton of upside even for his price. Ready to move on here?
Let's do it.
All right, another barn burner here. We've got the LA Kings and the Philadelphia Flyers. 2.4 implied total for the Kings, 3.1 for the Flyers. Jonathan Quick expected to go up against Anthony Stolarz. What, if anything, do we have here? I see no Jeff Carter.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff Carter's out again. Amadeo, is that how you say his name? Amadeo is in second line. He's on the power play. Basically took Carter's spot. Kind of a decent player in the AHL, sort of like just under a point a game, sort of half point a game. So not like a terrible play. They've been playing decently, or at least scoring over the last couple games. And no changes for the Flyers.
Yep. This is another one. Like 5.5 total. It's like it's very obvious to cross off on a big slate. So I'm trying to find reasons to like want to play these guys, but I just can't get to it for their prices. So it's all about price,
especially with like Philly's kind of like offense is kind of split. Don't like that second line full correlation as well. Like it's I'm not sure why they're switching it up, but Lindblom just doesn't play as much with Giroux and Voracek. I think it might just be because he's one of their main penalty killers. But
Couturier, you mean Couturier and Voracek?
No. Did I say Couturier or Giroux?
You said Giroux. Yeah.
Couturier and Voracek. Yeah, he gets like half the ice time normally as Voracek, so it's less of an appealing full stack for me.
Yeah, and they're probably going to go up against Kopitar. I know those numbers for the Kopitar line aren't daunting or anything, but they're still okay defensively, and I'm just looking for the best of the best matchups tonight, and I don't think this is it for the Flyers. So if the Flyers are what you need to bank, then I'm gonna lose money tonight. Same thing for the Kings. There's bad teams, and then there's bad teams, and I think bad spots, and this is one of them. I'm not opposed to playing bad teams, as we all know, and you'll hear some bad takes in just a second here, but not going to the Kings here.
Yeah, fair enough. I think this has like 2-1, 3-2 game written all over it. So,
yeah. The only line I would get to would be Kopitar, and I have one share out of 150 in Kopitar, and that's just to fit in a value stack, I'm sure. So, there you go. My one Kopitar stack's gonna bank it, I guess. Anything else here? Goalies, defensemen, anything?
Nothing. Maybe like Alec Martinez, a couple shares. Still priced down. Ice time's up. Like, not the worst punt play.
Let's see.
3,800 DK.
Yeah, I don't have any of him. So I'm primarily paying up for defenseman tonight. So you're going to hear pretty obvious takes from me, but I'm just going heavy on the top defenseman tonight.
Makes sense.
All right.
Big one. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely one of the big ones. This is probably one of the more exciting games of the night. Avalanche and the Capitals, 3.1 implied total for the Avs, 3.5 for the Caps. Semyon Varlamov going up against Phoenix Copley. And first of all, any changes here?
I think no changes for either team.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any that stick out.
They're all back to their usual line combos. So high ice time shares for Colorado won again, 35% last game. Washington won, hit 31% last game. So just the usual. It's basically like this should be a pretty high event game. I like both sides of it. And obviously you can't fit too much of this game if you wanted to like game stack it. It's pretty hard to do, but you can sort of alternate and pick and choose what you want here.
Yep. All right, so Washington won, no secret there. They're at home, big total. Probably going to see extended ice time if they're going to go up against McKinnon. I don't know that they're even going to see all the ice time against McKinnon. I think they might see like split time or even more time against the second and third lines here for the Avs, depending on what the Caps try to do here. They've used the Kuznetsov line quite a bit against opposing top competition. Maybe that's why you see the defensive numbers be so bad. But I think, just like summing this up, I think there's two lines in play here for the Caps. Definitely prefer the top one, but I do have the second one quite a bit as fillers with other top lines. And then it's really one line on the Avs. Expensive for sure, but Caps, most time shorthanded in the NHL this season. They don't kill them off particularly well. You've got a line that's going to play 20-plus minutes if this game is even remotely close. Full power play correlation, one of the best power plays in the NHL. It's just, you got to have some Colorado one here if you're MMEing, and I certainly am going to tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've discussed a little bit on the show, like Washington, they're priced down a little bit, and part of that is due to the fact that they're still creating chances, but they just haven't been converting on them. So they've created the 10th most high danger chances and scoring chances, somewhere in that neighborhood as well over the past 10 games, but their high danger goals for rank like 20th and 25th or something. So some positive regression likely coming for them, just because they are not usually, those discrepancies usually aren't that high for the Capitals. They're usually a pretty strong finishing team. So I like them. I'm going to continue to ride them until they have like a big breakout game, but I think it's coming.
Yep. Yeah, it certainly could be in this game. I've just been hammering teams against the Capitals, and you've got a top 2 or 3 line in the NHL right now, maybe the best line, according to some people. And they're not going to be super highly owned. I mean, no one is on a 14-game slate, so just don't worry about ownership with Colorado 1. I don't know that they even get to 10 tonight in large field stuff. Maybe a little higher, depending on the stakes. But
damn, that's low. I was thinking more like 15.
I don't know that anyone gets to 15 tonight, unless and I think if someone does, it might be the Caps actually. So
yeah, that's fair.
Columbus,
that's an intriguing play then, because there's far and away the best line in the NHL this year, right? Well, except for maybe Calgary won.
Scoring wise, Calgary won up there. Boston won, of course, when Bergeron's healthy. But yeah, that's I don't think anything outlandish here. I think McKinnon's foot is still bothering him. Yeah, when did he hurt that foot, Homer Cleese? Was that
right before the All-Star break?
Right before. Yeah, because there was some question as to whether or not he was going to do the All-Star festivities. But yeah, I mean, it could be bothering him. I guess we won't really know. Speed's a pretty big part of his game. So, that's
4 straight games with just no goals and just 2 assists for McKinnon. So, though some tough matchups in there.
Good pun in there, Corsi. Do you like any other lines in this game?
No, just Washington 1, Washington 2, Colorado 1.
Okay. Didn't know if you were going to Colorado 2. I don't think they're going to make my cut tonight.
No, but they're like a nice. I mean, Soderberg's just gotten pricey. That's the only problem with it, especially on DK. He's 5,500. Like, I'll roster a $4,000 Soderberg, but not a 5,500 one.
Yeah. Carlson, probably going to be my highest owned defenseman tonight.
Damn.
Yeah, he's 6,200.
What?
It's going to be close between him, Burns, and my boy Shabbat. So
it feels like you're cheating on Burns there.
no, I'm not cheating on him. Trust me, I'm going to have more than enough Burns, but Carlson might take the cake here. So I know my boy Corsi is heavy on Carlson as well.
Nice.
He says Carlson's better than Burns tonight. So we'll see.
All right, I like it. Get a $600 savings on DK too. So
yeah, exactly. That's part of it. I've got them graded out as similar values, but when you get up priced that high, the optimizer kind of will just take the $600 and disperse it elsewhere. So
yeah,
it's gonna be close, but Carlson's for sure gonna be 1 or 2 at the least. And then Tyson Barrie on the other side, the kind of the obvious guy, but I don't like him nearly as much as Carlson, even for their prices. Even though I like Colorado 1, he's pretty tough to fit in with Colorado 1. So. And
are you going to be using Carlson just as a one-off in non-Washington lineups as well?
Yep, just all over the place. All the Carlson tonight for me.
Nice. That's good. It's good to hear. I've been on him for a while, but he just hasn't been like his usual self. You know, he's kind of like in a few, maxing out at like 5 points lately or something. But
Homer Cleese says good Barrie spot. Yeah, you were dead on about him last game, Steve. So I lowered my exposure when you said something about Columbus's PK maybe, and I lowered my exposure a little bit on Tyson Barrie. So maybe you're the Barrie whisperer. That could be the case. I also like Orlov. I should mention him for 3,200. Just a good value. Yep. I know he's not playing with Carlson. You'd really like it if he was, but I still like him for that price.
Yeah, he's always decent value if he's priced at 3K, no matter what. Like he's hitting 20. Anytime we get a 20-minute defenseman with power play 2 time at that price.
All right, ready to move on?
Let's do it.
Winnipeg Jets and Montreal Canadiens. 3 implied total for both teams here. Connor Hellebuck and Carey Price in net here. We're going to see a repeat of this Montreal 1 being the nut stack again on a big slate.
Man, I did not have enough of them the other night, and they were such a good grade too. Like they were in such a good spot. I don't think they'll. I mean, they've been like due for a while, so. I wouldn't be surprised if they had another solid game here. Winnipeg's home road splits are pretty weak. News and notes wise, Byfuglien's back for the Jets. Morrissey is out. The Jets are loaded up on that right side with Myers, Byfuglien, and Trouba. And for Montreal, Tatar looks ready to return. So he'll go up to the second line, and actually Hudon will move down to the fourth line, and Pekka stays up on that second line.
Cool. All right, so quite a bit of stuff to talk about there. Montreal 1 maybe looked pretty stupid the other night. I felt like I should have had them. They were a team that I liked, but I kind of got cute, along with quite a few people, actually, with this third line. And they were okay, but Montreal 1 ended up being like the best value stack of the night. And when the best value stack hits, or, there is a value stack that hits, plus you get the top defensemen like Burns and Yossi, then testosterone wins all the money. So, I don't know that I love them tonight, but where are you at on them and then this game overall?
I don't know. I don't really have any strong takes. I generally fade Winnipeg on the road, I don't think it'll be any different tonight. Their home road splits are brutal. Also, one more note. I had Roslovic is on the power play 1, and Laine has been demoted to the power play 2. So he is firmly entrenched in that doghouse tonight. Yep. I think that Montreal, even fresh off that win, I think they're not a bad play here. I don't think they'll be too heavily owned just because people are scared of that Winnipeg offense. So correlating them with Price, maybe a contrarian play for large GPPs. Price has won like 7 games in a row. His save percentage is high. So, I don't mind that as a sort of like a Montreal 1 Price stack is a decent move. What's your take on like matchups for Montreal tonight?
I think we're probably going to see Deneau go up against Scheifele, Connor Wheeler, and you mentioned that Winnipeg has some pretty decent home road splits. If I'm not mistaken, Winnipeg 1 also has some pretty decent splits, even going back to last season.
Yeah, Winnipeg 1 has, I think, as far as a line, I haven't fully researched this, but like it's up there. Boston 1 was right behind them, but they are number 1 in terms of difference in production between home and road.
Just like
and like
wise.
Yeah, points wise, and it's like been a trend now for a while. I mean, the splits shouldn't be that huge, but they are. So
Sure. Yeah, so I don't know. I think Danault and Drouin and Gallagher are in for quite a bit of ice time tonight. Not that I base everything on ice time, but the price still is right for them.
yeah,
Two good scorers in Drouin and Gallagher, and then Danault, a capable center. When he chips in, that's just kind of extra here.
yeah.
But he is only 4,700. So
Get you a couple second assists maybe.
yeah, for sure. That's what you're looking for from Danault.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not really on Winnipeg 1 here, not on Winnipeg 2. I almost never get there. Laine just doesn't grade out for me well these days. And then Roslovic, like he's getting some results lately, but the shot attempts really aren't there for me to warrant playing him, especially now. People are going to be on him just because of the power play 1, but I don't know. I'm just not there. So
Laine's price just hasn't come down enough. Like it's down $500 from like 3 weeks ago, and he has like 1 goal in that amount of time. Like I don't know, the breakout game's gonna come, and he's gonna have that 3-goal game. You're gonna want to be on it before everyone else. But good luck figuring out when that's gonna be. I'm gonna wait till like a plush home matchup or something. But yeah, I'm off him tonight.
yeah, so this one's mostly going to be the Danault line. I don't have. I'm at like 8% right now. That's probably going to be over the field, but
Yeah.
just a home line that I think is in an okay spot. So they're going to end up as a filler more than anything.
Yeah, I like
Byfuglien, Corsi points out Byfuglien. Winnipeg's power play 1 is much better with Byfuglien. Yeah, they've really struggled with him out. So I don't think people will be on Winnipeg. So if you like Winnipeg, then go overweight on them because unless I'm just reading this wrong, I don't think they're going to have a lot of ownership. There's a lot of other lines in their price range that are either at home or in better perceived matchups. So,
Yeah.
any defensemen here? Kind of mentioned Byfuglien there, but anyone else?
No, I think I'm good. I'm going to take a wait and see approach. Just wait for Byfuglien. I don't know what his minutes are going to be like tonight. So, yeah, I'm off the D in this game.
Cool. All right, let's go to. Here we go. This is the game right here. We've got the Anaheim Ducks and the Ottawa Senators. 2.9 implied total for the Ducks. Looks like 3.1 for the Senators. John Gibson going up against Anders Nilsson. Ottawa on the back-to-back. What do we have for news and notes, if anything?
I think nothing from the Ottawa side. Just that the line we're going to spend a lot of time talking about actually got a really high 5-on-5 share last game. So that's interesting because like they've constantly sort of had been broken up or like they're down to like 12% together, and like that Boucher could go back to that again tonight. But if not, then that bodes well for them. And then power play wise as well, the Ottawa power play split, and the Ottawa 2 line was with Chabot. So we're both going to be on Ottawa 2. I think everyone will be tonight, but just more reason to like them.
Yep, I'm all over Ottawa here, so I'm playing bad teams on a big slate. I know Ottawa's not good, but they can produce offensively, at least we saw last night. We've seen it in other games too, and especially at home. They're just a better team at home, as a lot of teams are, and the numbers point that way as well. I think they've got 2 lines that are capable of scoring here, and then they might go with Pajot against Getzlaf or Kellen Perry, so you've got this stacked, quote-unquote stacked top line for the Ducks, like really the only line you're ever worried about. And both the top 2 lines for Ottawa may not even have to face much of them. So yeah, their ice time might go down a little bit, but they're going to be on the ice against lines that they have huge advantages over. So yes, it's all about Ottawa 2, but I also like Ottawa 1. So
yeah,
and I usually don't. So it just goes to show how much my numbers like the Ducks.
Anaheim's just been abysmal. Like they're far and away the worst team, and they're like back to their days at the beginning of the year where they were that terrible. So I don't know if they're due for some aggression if they can't be that bad, because I might have like a share or 2 of Anaheim 1 just to sort of be contrarian here. I don't know what their ownership gets up to, but yeah, just give me all the Ottawa tonight.
Yep.
What do you think the ownership gets to for Ottawa too?
Man, I don't know, probably 10%, I think.
Yeah, I was thinking 12. 10, 12, 13, something like that. But
yeah, I don't know. They're not going to be.
That's okay.
Yeah, they're not going to be super heavily owned. I don't think anybody's going to be. So I don't think you got to worry like on either of these two lines. So yeah, Shabbat as well. Should mention him for 6K.
Yep.
He's one of my favorites of the night that I mentioned. And
Shocked.
yeah, shocking that I like Thomas Shabbat here. Maxime Lejoie and Dylan DeMello as well.
Yeah.
So I'm all over Ottawa tonight. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
Anything else in this game?
Any Anaheim shares?
I've got a couple Getzlaff for Kellen Perry, and really that's it. So
Pairing them. Do we know who's starting? Is it probably going to be Nilsson, right?
It's gonna Nilsson.
Yeah, because they played last night and Anderson played.
I had Nilsson, but Fantasy Cruncher had Craig Anderson in there. So yeah, you never really know. I don't know if they like Craig Anderson. Obviously, he's kind of like their number one, but it could be either one of them. So be sure to keep an eye on this. What's that?
Said no skate this morning, I think. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Jake, are
Not
you
much
all
else
over?
to say about this? I don't know. I'm in.
Jake, are you
Gibson
all
as
over
well,
Ottawa
struggling. So
because you're chasing after missing Montreal. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm chasing. Like I knew that just based on everything, my numbers like looking at scoring chance data and all this stuff, and like line matching and stuff, that I was going to be on Ottawa here, and the Ducks have just been one of my favorite matchups pretty much all year. So
yeah.
I don't think I'm chasing, but I guess we'll see after the slate. If they're going to be 15-20% owned, then yeah, I'm going to be in trouble. But
Osmo doesn't think you're chasing either.
Yeah, that is a good point. You've got White, Stone, Kachuk, all A or B values on DK.
It's not very often you see a top line get an A grade that's under like 14K on both sides either. So
right. All right. Anything else in this game before we kind of get going? I do like Nilsson if he starts, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ready to go on to the next one?
Let's do it.
How much Ottawa 3 is Osmo going to have? That's a good question. So
Ottawa
he did,
3?
By the way, if anybody watched the show yesterday, Osmo did the same thing on a 2-game slate where he didn't full stack both lines. So, yeah, interesting talking point for maybe Saturday. What's that?
He just mixed and matched?
No, we talked about it on the show. I don't want to get bogged down in it right now, but he went like 3-2-1 with his forwards, and then didn't correlate his defenseman or goalie. So,
interesting.
Yeah,
he's trying to be
unique,
that.
Maybe. Ready to go on to the next one?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do the Vegas Golden Knights going up against the Detroit Red Wings. 3.3 implied total for the Golden Knights. 2.7 for the Red Wings. We've got Marc-Andre Fleury going up against Jimmy Howard. Anything here that you're seeing for news and notes?
Dylan Larkin's game time decision. He was expected to miss a week, but he may, there's a chance he plays tonight. I think he probably won't go, but he's a true game time decision. As last I checked. And that is it, I think, for news and notes. The Knights might have messed with their power play. I'll just look it up if you want to talk about your favorites here.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of favorites here, honestly. My highest exposed guy. So first of all, there's no Larkin for the Red Wings. When that happens, I'm pretty much not going to get to Detroit. He's really their only guy, along with Nyquist, but really it's Larkin driving everything here that I really care about. So Colin Miller, I'm actually getting a little bit of, and it worries me that Osmo has him as a D value. But he's a guy, power play 1. You like guys on the power play. He's just coming up for me as a value in this range. And like I said, there really aren't a lot of them. So
yeah, that's fair. The other note that I had is Oscar Lindbergh is on the power play 1 and Peary is down to the power play 2.
Okay.
So that was just I couldn't find anything on Twitter. That was just a daily face-off thing. So take it with salt, but
yeah,
generally they don't change things unless there's a reason to.
Yeah, you're cutting out there a little bit, but I think you're good now. So I don't really love full stacks here. The only one I'm getting to a little bit is the Carlson line. Carlson, Marchessault, and Zykov. It's probably just because Zykov is just 2,500, but nothing big here for me.
I kind of like that as a bit of a contrarian play tonight. There's not that, like, with Zykov, who's been like solid offensively in terms of like his underlying numbers this year. And I think they don't have full power play correlation, but the two of them are on the power play. So bit of a sneaky spot here, I think, for Vegas. I think they come in at like under 5% owned. They're cheap. And I haven't looked at that line, but Vegas as a team is due for some positive regression as well, creating lots of chances, just not converting on them. And that's partly what's keeping their price down low.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have this as that great of a spot for Vegas, which worries me a little bit. Like, you want to target against Detroit's penalty kill especially. There's a lot of talent here, and you've got good correlation on both lines, really. But, man, like I said, you kind of have to just pick a few spots and go heavy on them, and you're just going to end up leaving a couple behind. And this is one that I'm pretty worried about because we know how good of a team Vegas is. So
Yeah, for sure.
Would Fleury be a lock goalie for cash with Larkin out?
I don't know if it's a lock, but I think it's a good play.
He's a decent price, right? I just don't know how much Detroit's going to be able to generate. So I think Vegas should win here, but I don't know. I would have to look over the entire slate and like try to make a cash lineup before I say Fleury's a lock, and I just don't play cash. Zykov only playing 11.5 minutes per game is scary. Yeah, he could get switched out of there too for Smith.
Is that right? I didn't realize that. Yeah, that is a little bit scary, especially with the lack of power play time.
With gross payout structure in the $8, are you just playing the 88 and running fewer lineups? I'm not. I'm actually playing the 8, so I
get that win. Get that 10 Gs.
Right. So that's why you're playing GPPs anyways. You're playing to win. So I don't know. You're gonna need like a top 5 spot to probably break even. But I don't know. Just hoping that other people make mistakes in it and maybe it doesn't fill. And hopefully I can just compete at the top and take down the 10K, and then the price structure won't worry. I won't have to worry about it.
I like it. And then beers are on you.
Yeah, always. All right, ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah, let's do it.
St. Louis Blues and the Tampa Bay Lightning. We've got a 2.6 implied total for the Blues, 3.4 for the Lightning. Jordan Binnington going up against Andrei Vasilevsky. And what do we have for news and notes here?
I don't think we have anything on either side. Did you notice anything?
I don't. Just that points back. I don't know. He was questionable last time we were on.
He played last game, and that was another great option. Like we talked about the Tom late split there, or the late ad when Roslovic was in. That's the same kind of thing. Last time Braden Point was 1% owned, and so just keep in mind next time you've got like a star that's a GTD, you can get him in at super low ownership and correlate him well. But he's back with his usual line mates. All the Tampa lines are back to normal. Intriguing game here. I know you have some thoughts about St. Louis 1 that you kind of like.
Yeah, so I kind of detailed it in the Stacks article earlier today. And I think I got it pulled up here actually right now. So we'll just kind of go to this, and you guys can read this, or you don't have to. But I just think they're going to go overlooked. Tampa is, their perceived tough matchup. But you look at like the last 10 games, I look at the last 10, last 20, see if there's anything that kind of sticks out. And they're allowing quite a few high danger chances, scoring chances as well. And then their top line, specifically when they're in the shutdown role, which they almost always are at home, they're just not very good defensively. So they're super high event. They're willing to trade chances. And then St. Louis 1 has just been so good at even strength.
Yeah.
Like you look at these numbers, so that's obviously awesome. But like this is outrageous. And yeah, it's only 55 minutes. But I'd rather be on them on a slate where I don't think anybody's going to be on them. So it's not like I'm going 50% St. Louis 1 in my 100 or 150, but definitely going to get up into like double digits, and I think that's going to be comfortably 3 times ahead of the field. So
they'll be like 3% owned. You gonna pair them with Binnington as well?
Yep. So I'm actively trying to correlate tonight. So I like it.
Correlate your D with your forward.
Say that again.
Correlating your D with your forward stacks.
I'm not doing as much of that tonight, but I do.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm brain dead. I said Bennington, and I just started thinking about Peter Angelo.
Yeah. So Homer Cleese says Tampa coming up for me a lot on early crunches, and I want nothing to do with them. So yeah, I think that's maybe the more important thing in this game for me is that, yes, Tampa's good. I don't know how well they've played lately, results-wise, record-wise, but St. Louis has just been awesome. And I think there's a realistic chance St. Louis wins this game. And I think it's going to have a lot to do with the O'Reilly line. Like, whether they get there, that's one thing. But I think they're going to be able to control the game if they go up against the point line. So, man. Special
teams, power play, number 1 in the last 10 games, Lightning. Blues, number 3 in the penalty kill.
Yeah. So that is a big total for Tampa. So it's worrisome. But I've faded Kucherov in this point line so many times. I remember the times I get burned, but I feel like I've been right on them quite a few times as well. So hoping tonight's one of those.
Yeah, Lightning have spent the most time shorthanded second most time shorthanded in the NHL over the past 10 games as well. So there's another tick in the Blues column.
And they don't have a good PK, if I remember correctly, for the season. That is. Zach asks, I've been firing 20 lineups every night in $3 on DK for the past week. Any advice when making 20 lineups? I would say get Fantasy Cruncher if you're serious about MME. Nothing changes. You're still stacking. You're still, correlating goalie if you correlate goalie, or correlate your defenseman if that's what you like to do. Just depends on your play style, but nothing changes whether you're running 100 or 20 or 150. For me, at least, you're still trying to do exactly what you're trying to do, and that's hit a big score and correlate. So, limit exposure for sure. You could do that. It depends. Are you playing at a 20 max? Because then everyone's on an equal playing field. So, I don't know.
I play a lot of 20 maxes, and I think it just depends on the slate and how much conviction you have in your plays that night, right? Like, if you're really high on a line and you think that they're not going to get owned, then don't be afraid to go way overweight on them, and you may lose everything. You can always hedge a little bit with the other side of it, but don't be afraid to lose.
Yep. All right. Anything more before we move on here?
No, I got nothing.
Cool.
I like that St. Louis call, though. I'm going to have a little bit of them.
All right.
Only 12 games left.
Yeah, that's what it feels like, right? Dallas and Nashville, we've got a 2.4 implied total for the Stars, 2.9 for the Predators. Anton Khudobin going up against Saros? ? Anything you see here?
Just that Kyle Turris is back for the Preds, but he is not centering. He's centering the third line. Is that right? No, he's centering the. Hang on, I gotta look this up. I totally forgot. Do we have it on the screen right now?
Brian Boyle.
Yeah. Oh, who's he centering? Brian Boyle and.
He's with Turris and Yarncroc.
Yarncroc, that's right. And so Bonino's with Smith and Fiala. Mm-hmm. So, and Boyle is on the power play 1 as well, which is interesting. And then Cody McLeod as well makes his debut, so you're going to want to get him in your lineups because he's pretty. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Got to have that Cody McLeod. What a weird
Other than that,
trade.
Much same old. Just surprising that Turris isn't between Smith and Fiala, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't get that at all, but.
Saros likely, apparently, yeah. So Preds usually confirm pretty late. So check in on this one if you want to play Saros. I think that's a pretty decent price for him, especially for a Nashville goalie at home where they're a pretty decent favorite. I don't know. I really want to play. I want to be heavy on Nashville 1 here just because I think they're so good. Their pricing makes it tough to do, especially with Arvidsson up over 7,300. Johansson's come up in price. And then Forsberg's kind of stayed the same. But I love them as a unit. I don't know that this is the best matchup. Right now I've got about 6% of Nashville 1. I don't know where that's going to fall in the field. But they're not one of my main top stacks like a Washington 1 or Colorado 1 or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. It should be pretty tight defensive. Both these teams just aren't doing much. I think it'll probably be pretty low event. Well, maybe not in Nashville, but Dallas has just been kind of really tightening up lately. So I'm kind of just off it, but might have a little bit of exposure to Nashville 1. And I think that Depending on the deployment, maybe the problem with rostering the Bonino line is like, I don't know if they would change the deployment of their center based on his wingers. Like, does Bonino now the de facto number 2? And if that's the case, then maybe he's a little bit more interesting because he'd be getting a lot more offensive zone starts. He's predominantly one of the more gets more defensive zone starts than other players. So that could either be a downgrade for Nashville to like the Smith the outline or an upgrade for them. I'm not sure what that means, but they're all reasonably priced.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like if I'm going to Nashville tonight, it's this top line and I'm just not going to think twice about it.
Fair.
They've just been so good. And these other lines, there's so much uncertainty. There's Brian Boyle, like Fiala and Smith just seem to never get there.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I don't think they're going to have a great matchup either. So if there's not going to be a great matchup, at least take a great line if you're going to the Predators. Is how I'm looking at it. So that's where I'll be at. I like Yossi. I have him projected pretty well, but he's not coming close to like Burns or Shabbat or who's the other guy I had? Carlson. So probably not going to end up with too much Yossi. Love Nashville tonight. Well, then you should go heavy on them, Brian, because I don't think they're going to be heavily owned tonight.
Yeah, Yossi's a little pricey, but
sure. All right, next one.
Let's do it.
Oilers and the Wild. We've got a 2.4 implied total for the Oilers, 3.1 for the Wild. Cam Talbot in net against Devin Dubnyk. What do we have here? Looks like some new Minnesota lines.
Yes. So the Oilers lines, I think everything is staying the same for the Oilers. Is the same. Sorry, just let me pull it up here. It's the same lines for the Wild as well for the top line, anyways. With Stahl, Granlund, Zucker, with Koivu now out, and then Rask is with Parise and Coyle on the second line. So still the same power plays, I think. Still the same everything else. Just that change on the third and fourth lines, I guess, which aren't super interesting. Minnesota won here for me, and that's probably going to be it from this game.
Did you get that? I just missed it. Did you say that Draisaitl is on the top line with McDavid and Ratty?
No, I missed that entirely.
Yeah.
Where did that? Okay.
It's not on DFO, but one of the beat writers tweeted it out. There's a link in the Slack chat. Just
nice.
Scroll up. I posted it somewhere. But that's what one of the beats expected tonight. So we don't have to deal with Lucic.
David Draisaitl, eh?
Yep. So a better line, of course. Still not going to be great defensively. You still want guys that correlate to McDavid, but I don't necessarily like guys going into Minnesota anyways. So for this one, for me, it's going to be all Minnesota. It's going to shock no one. Stalzucker, Granlund is going to be one of my highest exposed lines of the night. Great numbers. They look great when you watch them. They don't finish all that well, but for these prices, they're going to create so many chances where I'm going to have a lot of exposure to them, right up behind like an Ottawa 2 or something like that. So I wrote them up. Nothing's changed. I think I like it even better now that McDavid and Draisaitl are on that line together, because now you get to face even lesser players, because it's probably going to be Parise and Coyle going up against McDavid and Draisaitl if they hard match at all. So there's that.
Yeah, that Minnesota Wild one line is just so reasonably priced too. So
they've been much worse defensively together, haven't they? Higher event. Yeah, I think higher event is the better way to put it.
Who's that?
McDavid and Draisaitl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that beat writer said he heard it. Seems odd. Yeah, I mean, beats have been wrong before, right? But
I just looked on Twitter, though, and I can see like multiple people reporting it. So
okay. So a couple sources?
I have 2 sources reporting that.
Is Malkin playing tonight? Saw a beat writer saying he was on the ice this morning for an optional skate. No, he's not playing. He was listed as out. All right. What else? Do you like Edmonton in this game at all, or no?
Minnesota's been really good lately defensively, right? So I think I'm just going to fade them. I know like a lot of people were on Edmonton against Chicago, but that's Chicago. So and it was probably just because of the fact that the wingers were so cheap. So yeah, I'm off them tonight. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I think. Do you agree? Like Minnesota's been good defensively, right?
Sure.
Fourth least chances in the last 10 games.
They didn't look all that great. They had a few lapses last game against Buffalo, and Buffalo capitalized. So I don't know. Like, if you look on natural stat trick, they may not look great, but no Koivu certainly hurts. Shutdown wise, just defensively. So if you want to take a shot on Edmonton here at low ownership, that's fine. But I don't think I will be joining you in that endeavor. What else here? Suter, Spurgeon, any of these guys you like?
Yeah, Suter's not bad. Spurgeon got the goals last game, but I don't know. Suter's been rating out pretty well for Osmo, and I know he went through a period where he was pretty low event, but he's just getting so much ice time that he just, like, when you're getting 30 minutes a game and power play one time for that price, I don't care about the shots as much, so I'm happy to put in some Sutter shares today. What's your read?
He's okay, as he always is. Never a guy I really get to, and I'm trying to hammer these top end guys, so I'm not getting to Suter.
Fair. So, like, if you're, let's say, just quickly, I'll just try and keep this quick. I know we're running late, but if you had like let's say you had like 10 grand left or 10-2 left for defense spots, you'd recommend, if someone was hand building or even just like plugging in, you'd recommend like pay for that Burns, and then go to like the Zadorov or the $2,700 bare min D, rather than going like 2.5 D.
Yeah, I think I'm probably trying to get to a 6K guy. I don't know that there's, in general, a big difference between the 4 and 5K guys, but I think once you get up in like 55, 6K, 6,500 to the Burns, Yossi's, like, I think that's a huge
great
difference.
Floor and the elite game breaking ability, right?
Right, and guys that are going to play a ton of minutes, they block shots, they play on the top power play, they might even play on both power plays in Burns' case. So, just way more scoring opportunities for those 6K guys. And what I always forget about is there's a lot of times skating with the best lines at even strength too. So just like all of their minutes are good minutes, whereas these 4K guys, 5K guys even, like Dougie Hamilton, like he's got huge upside game to game, but I think long term, paying up for one or both of these defensemen, first of all, they're under-owned and they're easier to predict. So
right.
I like it. That's a good question. I mean, I could be wrong too. I might be just dead wrong, but that's just how I think of it.
No, that's how the pros do it too. I think, like, you see. Well, you're a pro too.
I don't think I am.
That's how, like, the guys I've analyzed as well do it. So.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to. We got a couple more. I think. Couple more.
Three more.
I
totally missed this Columbus game earlier.
Ah, that's good. That one's actually interesting to me. But let's talk about Vancouver and Chicago quick. 3 implied total for the Canucks, 3.5 for the Blackhawks. Jacob Markstrom, Colin Delia in net here. Are we chasing Chicago 1 here?
No, I'm not. I'm going to continue to fade them. Their same principles apply to, like, their regression stats. I think they're the reverse of the Capitals. They've just been scoring at such a high clip. It's like them and the Flames have been overachieving, except, like, I think the Flames are just more talented. So it's a great matchup for them. Like, they could break the slate. They could be the best scoring line. They're getting a ton of ice time. I'm going to continue to fade them until they don't score, which might be to my detriment. I don't know. And then just news and notes. Granlund is up for the Canucks on the first line, and I think it's Kempf is out for the Blackhawks, and Perlini. Kempf and Cahoon, I get them mixed up all the time. Let me pull it up. Perlini is in on the third line, though, for the Blackhawks.
Okay. I'm kind of with you. Oh, go ahead.
Just one note on the Canucks. Just keep an eye on line rushes, because last game against the Capitals, they broke up that top line and they put Besser with Horvat, and Pettersson was on his own line with Goldobin and I can't remember who. So keep an eye on it. They were back together this morning, so we'll find out. But it's Kampf that's out for a few weeks for Chicago.
Yeah, I'm with you on Chicago 1 year. They're, whatever they're at, I'm going to be well underweight on them. Mm-hmm. First of all, not great numbers for them defensively. And they're probably going to match against Pettersson, Besser, and that line's been really low event. Not giving up a lot of shots, some scoring chances, but really like under 8 high danger chances against per 60, which is really impressive. They
haven't been great together.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the best of the best, right? So I'm looking for the best of the best matchups, and like I'd rather take a shot, give more of my exposure to like a St. Louis 1 that's been awesome, like dominant, and I think has a little bit better of an even strength matchup, as weird as it is to say, on the road in Tampa compared to at home against Vancouver. And then the other thing about Vancouver too is they've been a lot more disciplined lately. Since January 1st, I think they're bottom 5 in the NHL in time shorthanded. They were for January, and then so far this February, I think they have 3 games, 7 times shorthanded. So they've just been staying out of the penalty box, and that's how Chicago's been scoring like seemingly all of their goals lately.
Yeah, and their max penalty kill is trending up as well with Beagle and Sutter back. We kind of touched on that in past shows, but that's definitely a plus for them now. It was a negative before, but their PK has been better. So,
give me
just
all
to be it. And then like on the other side, do you like the Besser Pettersson line at all? Because
I think
Chicago's been so awful defensively that could be kind of a sneaky target here now that everyone thinks they're hot.
Yeah, I think they're perfectly fine. They don't come out as a great value for me with Pettersson and Besser up to 6,700, but full power play correlation, Chicago, terrible kill. You've got a cheap defenseman in Hutton. You can play with them, as Homer Cleese says in chat. So they definitely make sense. I'm probably going to get a little bit more exposure when I run my final crunch. So right now I think I only have like 2 or 3 shares of them, but I want to get that up to like at least 5 or 6, which doesn't seem like a lot, but that's double than what I would have had. So
yeah, I like that for sure.
All right. Mentioned Hutton, like him. I think he's one of those 4K values that you can use tonight. And Gustafsson on the Hawks has been doing the scoring. Is he your guy tonight? Or are you looking more at Keith or Seabrook?
Me, I'm not going to roster any of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, you said you're not on Chicago one, so that makes sense.
Fading.
All right, let's go to the next one. We've got the Sharks and the Calgary Flames. 3.2 implied total for the Sharks, 3.4 for the Flames. Martin Jones against David Rittich. Anything you see here for news and notes? Looks like all the same.
Just like Carlson's out. Hamnick is out as well. I think we kind of knew that going in. So this is an interesting game because don't if you're winning before this one starts, don't count those chickens. This could be pretty high event, high scoring game.
Yeah.
What's your read on it?
I think this is one of those Homer Cleese, hopefully he's still in chat. High range of outcomes game, wide range of outcomes, I should say. So you got Backlund that's going to go up against probably the Couture line. Maybe they see some time against both of the top 2. And then you've got a really good Monahan, Gaudreau, Lindholm line that's been a lot better defensively as well. So just loaded with talent on both sides.
The last time these teams met, it was like 8-6 or something, right?
Yeah. So you could certainly see this game going nuts. I mean, 6.5 total. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying anything outrageous there, but
yeah,
I'm getting to a little bit of Calgary 1. So, and that surprised me a little bit just because I do have like Colorado 1 and all these other expensive lines that I like. And then Burns, really. So, I don't know. What do you got here?
I'm going to fade the Flames a little bit just because they're, I think, in the same boat as the Blackhawks. They've just been kind of converting at an unsustainable rate lately, which has driven up their price. Like they're 28 high-danger goals for lead the league, but their chances are somewhere in the middle of the league. So this is a great matchup for them, and they could, just a high total, high event game, I think. So it could be that they will, continue on that. But I'm going to kind of try to start to bet against them a little bit and hope that they regress to the mean a little bit.
Yeah.
That's my only take here, but it's a dangerous fade, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, just so much talent. And you've already seen this game go off earlier in the season. New Year's Eve, of course, he says. Seems like he had a bad experience with this one. It could be it could be the same thing again. So I don't know what type of ownership this game's going to have. I don't know that I should even mention ownership on a slate this big, but
just do like throw 1 or 2 full NFL style game stacks in there.
You could do that,
right?
I don't know. I'm trying to see what I have.
It's tough to fit in because none of these lines are priced. Like you could only do you might be able to do Calgary 1, Calgary 2, San Jose 1, maybe.
Yeah,
that's about.
I'm really getting to Calgary mostly with the Ottawa lines. So
yeah, that makes sense.
It's just more.
You like, or maybe just like is the move here to try to get some shares of the offense through Burns and Giordano?
Yeah, I think. I mean, just Burns. Even in a bad game, he had 60K points. Like, he's just incredible. D value here though worries me. I want to know what Osmo knows. Don't we all? But
probably just the price point, or
is it, or just like the lack of positional scarcity up top here? I guess there's a lot of other options. But he's got Giordano as an E, so it would look like Osmo would be paying down for defensemen, or at least not paying up with these two guys. That's interesting because, I mean, I love Burns, and then Giordano is going to be, let's see, 4th or 5th highest owned defenseman too. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I like both of the top defensemen here.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what's in chat. I'm kind of missing here. Jones 7,700 LOL. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Rightly, E points grade, E value. If that's reason enough to have some Calgary 1 shares. Hamonic, is he playing? Do you know off the top of your head?
I think he's out. Let me double check though.
Mm-hmm. Anderson would get a bump if he's out. That makes sense.
Anderson would get a bump?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's out.
Okay.
Oh, he says
they're showing him in here.
trending in the right direction, so he could play. Earlier today, they said he was probably not going to play. So
yeah. Josh, 6 shots on goal is bad. He says an apple and 6 shots on goal is bad. Talking about Burns. Yeah, I mean, people were complaining about his game before he got the shorthanded assist.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
I saw
like
your comment. You're like, I didn't realize the slate was over.
Yeah, I mean, people were like complaining through 2 periods. He had like 5 shots on goal. Like, sometimes the points aren't going to be there, but the shots are almost always going to be there. So that's what I meant by bad game. It was more of a joke. All right. What else?
Last one?
Anything here? We're all good? Last one? Cool. Let's do Columbus and Arizona, and then we'll get out of here. Sergei Bobrovsky going up against Darcy Kemper. 3.2 implied total for the Jackets, 2.8 for the Arizona Coyotes. What do we have for line change here?
Looks like Galchenyuk's on the 3rd line now. Fisher might be back for the Coyotes. I totally spaced out and missed this game this morning for line changes. So Fisher's kind of a talented offensive player, but I take a wait and see approach on him. He's cheap. And then Columbus reunited that top line last game, and they got a pretty decent ice time share. So and also Chychrun looks like he's out as well, and Connaughton is probably back for the Coyotes.
Yeah, I think they said Connaughton. I think he's in, almost for sure. So
I missed that last game. I was kicking myself.
Oh yeah,
late scratch, I guess, or
he was. And you don't get any help from the Arizona beats, so they don't like fantasy apparently.
Yeah.
In Arizona,
well,
even though
or maybe just like they're not getting paid. Like, it's Arizona, It might be like a volunteer position.
Could be, yeah. They should care about fantasy. All right. Because why else would you watch Arizona?
Do you have some CBJ shares here?
I have some AZ shares here. Stepan Panik and Hinestroz I like. I also like the Cousins line here, so I'm more on the Arizona side than anything. The shares of Columbus that I do have are this Jenner, Anderson, Foligno line. I really like them. They're probably going to get the better matchup, probably avoid Stepan. They do get power play time. It looks like Jenner's not listed on a power play unit, but I don't know why that would be. Did he play there last game? Do you know?
I'll take a look.
It's Tortorella. I guess anything's possible. He always likes.
He doesn't usually play on the power. He usually plays on the power play too, right?
Yeah, he's not listed on any power play, which is weird. I don't know though. It's not gonna ruin my day if Jenner's not on a power play.
5% power play share, so no.
Interesting. I don't know. What do you like in this game? I like Arizona.
I was just gonna go full fade until you brought it up. So that Arizona one line is pretty cheap, and they're gonna have no ownership. So if you're going with the chalkier top line, that might be a nice pivot off them for sure.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a price thing. And that line's been pretty good. Ice time is pretty safe here. The Dubois line's pretty high event as well. So yeah, those are the reasons. Nothing crazy.
Grades out pretty well for Osmo B grade, A value. So kind of like that as well.
All right, any other defensemen here? Osterley, Goligoski, Ekman Larson.
Yeah, Ekman Larson, like ice time's up a bit with Chick right out. So don't hate it. 4,300. Probably actually like him a little more than Ekblad, but probably the same level of sort of offensive upside and time price point.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I don't know. Ekman Larson's fine for me.
Yeah.
I think an obvious value. I don't know why
Ekman Larson like addiction for a while, and I had to like slow my roll, so I'm kind of off him for a little bit.
He just doesn't do that much. You know, he's like one of those suitor types.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kanan back in, that screwed me last game. Yeah, me too. I didn't notice until all of a sudden it was like mid-second.
I don't think anyone did. It was like he was still like 2-3% owned. So
yeah, and he's like a guy you want to play in DFS like when he's playing. So
exactly.
All right. Anything left in the slate you want to kind of run down a few of your favorites here?
Yeah, so my favorites, same as yours, probably Washington 1, Ottawa 2, Minnesota 1. I like Vegas as a sneaky play that's kind of like a little bit contrarian. Going to have a little share of New York Islanders 1 in case Schneider's terrible. And I think that's about it.
Yep, so Ottawa is going to be my highest exposed team tonight on a 14-game slate. I do like... I mean, I love Washington 1. I love the Colorado game, Colorado-Washington, both sides of that. Looking at some other top stacks, I'm taking some shots on the Nashville 1 stack. Carolina 1, going to be one of my more heavily exposed. You mentioned Minnesota 1. You guys know my thoughts on them. I think it's a great spot. And then, man, that's really about it. I'm probably forgetting a couple, but just scroll back if you want to hear my thoughts on any games. Stack Carolina 1 with the middle of the road D, or Arizona 1 with 2 of the top end D. Couldn't you do both? You know, make 2 lineups. That's what I would say. But I tend to lean towards stacking. Oh, St. Louis 1. Good catch, Chris. I do like them. I think I'm going to be healthily overweight on the field on them. All right. Yeah, we did it. 14 games. How about that?
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for sticking with us, the few of you that did, or for popping in. We appreciate it. Please feel free to give us a like if you did enjoy it. Of course, it helps us out. And I think 1 game tomorrow, so probably no show. Probably will have something up for Saturday. I'm assuming it's a pretty big slate. So any last words of wisdom here, Nolan?
Nah, good luck, everybody.
All right, good luck. Keep it simple.